Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked, here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We're delighted you're here, and we are broadcasting 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. 2 hours of discussion about electricity today. Hour number one, we're going to be talking about building a solar system, alternative energy. We'll be talking about the batteries, how to select them, how to design your system from an overview perspective, how they work. Hour number two, we're going to be talking about electromagnetic radiation. So hour number one is with Brandon Williams. He's the CEO of IronEdison.com. And hour number two, Katie Singer. Brandon Williams, welcome to USAPrepares.com. Thanks so much for being with us. Now, this is a series of broadcasts that we're doing about solar power, and I'm really excited about this because I want to build the solar system here so I can operate the farm and broadcast via the sun. And so I was out yesterday looking at the barn roof, and it points to the south. And I'm all excited about it, and I've designed in my mind a method of securing the solar panels. So in the within the month, my son and I are going to get up on the roof. We're going to fabricate the mounts for the panels, wire them. I have the connectors, and we're going to be starting the installation of the panels. Then of course we have to finish the design for the inverter and the charge controller, and decide how many batteries and what voltage. So let's talk about some of that today. So first, Brandon, you are the CEO of IronEdison.com, and you're the senior guy there, right?
That is correct. I'm the lead system designer here at Iron Edison.
Okay. So when people call IronEdison.com, and your contact information is on the website, and it's also listed at USAPrepares.com under the instructors tab, they can contact your team, and your team can help with the design, kind of like what we're doing right here today in the broadcast classroom. So let's start with the three types of residential solar systems: the grid tie, the off-grid, and the grid tie with battery backup. Let's do a review of that, and then we'll get into detail about the nickel iron battery, which you and I believe is the heart of the system.
Exactly. So the three types of solar systems that you mentioned, grid tie, off-grid, and grid tie with battery backup, each are unique. Every system is unique, and that's why we have a team of system designers to help every single person to design the system that's just right for them. The first example of a solar system, the grid tie system, only works when the grid is available. The solar panels absorb the energy from the sun and feed that energy directly back to the grid. The second type of solar system, completely off the grid, this is where there is no grid available. You're either too far out, it's not feasible to install, or for some of my customers where they live in some very remote areas, they simply aren't allowed to drill power poles and run electricity. And then the third type of system is a grid tie with battery backup, where the system can feed excess energy back to the grid, but when the grid goes down, the solar and battery remain active by isolating those loads on a critical load subpanel.
Okay, so in terms of systems, now the grid ties, basically what we're talking about is we are generating our own electricity with, let's say, we'll call it solar panels right now, but it could also be a wind turbine, and it could be a wind turbine and a solar array. Well, let's just say we have solar panels, and we're generating some amount of electricity. And if we're consuming greater than that amount, we get the rest of what we need from the power grid, from our utility company, right?
Exactly right, Vincent. It's a very dynamic system. It changes moment by moment. So if you're using more than the solar is creating, like at night or in the evening, the solar is not creating a lot of power, so the excess power is coming in from the grid. During the afternoon, when nobody's at home, the solar panels are getting full sun. That's when you're reaping the true benefit of a grid tie system. It's feeding back all of that excess energy. The grid is a great place to send it back, and then the homeowner would be credited with the amount generated during the day. And basically, you're using the grid as a battery. You send it back during the day, and you're able to use the grid at night.
Now, Brendan, when we do that, let's say we send 10,000 watts. Let's say our consumption, it's a bright sunny day and we're outside and we're not using very much electricity at our home. It's a bright sunny day and we send 10,000 watts back to the grid. And then we need 10,000 watts tomorrow. The amount that we send back today, do we get full credit for that 10,000 watts, or do we sell it at a discount to the utility and then pay retail when we get it back tomorrow?
It's the second case. Unfortunately, most utilities do not credit the homeowner for the full retail value of the kilowatt hours produced by the solar array in a grid tie system. Utilities are even going so far as entering into a contract to give homeowners the full value. And then a couple years into that contract, they decide it's not in their best interest, and they're changing the terms of these contracts in the middle of an agreement. So it's really unfair to the homeowner who entered into this agreement with for a grid tie solar system.
Okay, I saw firsthand how a utility company operates. I ran for the board of directors because I wanted to learn from the inside how they operate. But I saw from the election process how they operate, and I don't think it's quite above board what they do. Give you an example. What they do is they put an incumbent up against a weak candidate, a very, very weak candidate, someone with no chance of winning, and then they ensure that the candidate that they want, who they've already groomed to do whatever they want, to be a yes man or a yes woman, wins that seat. Well, I think what you just said is just one more example. We have a contract with them, and we think that we're building the system, and then they change the terms to be in their favor against our favor, during the contract. So that means that as I look at these systems, which one would I want? Well, I think I would want for me, the next system in your discussion, which is the off-grid system, totally off-grid, no power meter, no dependence on them whatsoever. However, there are some disadvantages in doing that. Would you like to talk about the advantages and disadvantages? Because I'm thinking about, if I want to fire up my welder, I might have to run my generator in order to fire up a welder, right?
That's exactly right. For an off-grid system, it requires a lot of solar, battery, and generator equipment. So most homeowners don't have a generator right now. Some do, but the off-grid system requires a very large solar array. Enough solar power to recharge a battery and power all of your loads for today. The solar is only absorbing energy from the sun between the hours it's getting full sun between 10 and 2 p.m. So it's really just getting a few hours of sun per day, and it has to do a lot of work. So a generator is required. Having very efficient or gas appliances is really a requirement. And having just solar and batteries alone is not quite enough, because there may be periods of 3 or 4 days of cloudy weather, or as you mentioned, running your welder or a heavy chop saw or some other 240-volt equipment that would just overpower the solar system.
Mm-hmm. And Brandon, one of the things that I'm doing here at the farm, and the reason I talk about the farm class is I try to give you firsthand experiences on this broadcast so that maybe you're thinking about doing some of the things that we're doing here. So yesterday, I bought a bandsaw, and this bandsaw is 3/4 of a horsepower. It's a couple 100-pound machine. It was built back in the 1960s or 1970s. It's an old machine, but it will cut metal, rebar, it'll cut angle iron, and that's what I need to be doing. Well, that requires a significant amount of electricity. And if I go off grid, I have to prepare to be able to run, the lathe, the mill, the drill press, the welder, the air compressor, the well pump, all of those things. And those are high electricity demand items. Brandon, how do you handle that? If you were designing the system on the air right now for me, and let's do that, what would you have some concerns about that kind of a load? Now, obviously, I'm not going to be running a 220 volt, 2 horsepower lathe or 3 horsepower lathe at the same time I'm running the drill press, and at the same time I'm running the bandsaw, and at the same time I'm running the air compressor. But if I were running one of those at a time, and the compressor is probably a 3 or 4 or 5 horsepower compressor, so it's a fairly large compressor, and there's a high starting current that's required for that. What kind of a system would we build for this? Would it be a generator to cover those loads when I want to use them?
The generator would be a big help, and the inverter is really going to make the decision on what energy source to draw from. So it's going to see the availability of the battery and the solar. And what happens is the inverter is taking the energy from the renewable source and delivering it to the lathe, to the water pump, to your bandsaw, to all your appliances. We can program the inverter so that it senses a load above a certain level, let's say 10 amps AC. When the inverter senses that it's delivering at least that much energy to your appliances, the inverter can automatically signal the generator to turn on and help support those loads. So it's a really intelligent system. We don't want to drain your batteries as you're just doing this work through the day, so you don't have the batteries to use at night. So that's why we rely on programming the inverter to meet these loads. And we would size your generator, your inverter, your battery, and your solar array to support your everyday use. And then we would make sure that the inverter is programmed and that we have a big enough generator to be able to support those heavy loads. As you mentioned, water pumping, that's one of the biggest ones because we're moving heavy water sometimes 300-400 feet straight up. And it takes a lot of energy.
Hold that thought. We're going into a break. By now, you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration system and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Hi, John Hubner from Midas Resources. Are you tired of watching your hard-earned assets dwindle away? As government spending is out of hand and the Federal Reserve is creating in excess of $20 billion a week, are you tired of stockbrokers gambling away your hard-earned money? Is this market a setup for a greater than 1987? Too many of today's policies resemble those that led to the collapse of 1929. This is John Hubner, and that was me in 2007. And we all know what happened when the subprime credit bubble burst. By March 2009, the dollar lost 50% of its value. The entire U.S. banking system was on the verge of collapsing. Like all financial problems of the past, is history about to repeat itself? Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129, before it's too late to protect yourself. Will the oncoming catastrophe take all private IRAs, 401ks with it? There is a way to protect your hard-earned assets. Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129.
This is a nationwide announcement for consumers owing back taxes to the IRS. The slowdown in the U.S. economy has forced renewed action by the Internal Revenue Service. The IRS is now accepting reduced settlement amounts from qualifying consumers who owe back taxes. If you're eligible, your back tax settlement may be discounted by thousands of dollars. A specially assigned national hotline has been directly routed to Defense Tax Group. Consumers may now call and check their eligibility for a significant tax debt reduction. Financial stability is a major priority during this slow economy, so you're advised to dial this national hotline number now. 800-678-4191. If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, you may now find significant relief. You could save thousands of dollars if you qualify. Call now and get free vital information and to check your eligibility for a significant tax debt reduction. Call the Defense Tax Group now. 800-678-4191. That's 800-678-4191. 800-678-4191.
If you constantly feel run down and tired, your pH level might be low and your body could be full of toxins. If what you drink is not at a pH level of 8 or higher, you are inviting bacteria and acid to thrive in your body. But there is something you can do. Simply add 10 drops of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops to your water to help your body rid itself of acidic waste, increase oxygen, and raise your pH balance to optimum levels. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops combine a unique formula of the most alkaline minerals in the world, alkalizing the water you drink, ridding your body of acidic waste and toxins, and helping you regain energy and vibrant health. And studies show viruses, bacteria, and toxins cannot survive in an alkaline, high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops at alkavision.com. That's ALKA vision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health at alkavision.com today.
Class Brendan Williams is with us, and we're talking about the three types of residential solar systems, grid tie, and that's you have power only when the grid is available. Then we're talking about the off-grid system, which is completely independent from the electric utility company. And then we're going to be talking about grid tie with the battery backup. So right now we're talking about off-grid, and we're talking about the high-demand loads, like pumping water. And you might have a column of water in your well 400 feet or so, or maybe more. And I can tell you that water is really, really heavy. And a column 500 feet tall is about 800 pounds. So if you're pushing up from the bottom, it's 800 pounds. So it's a lot of work, and it requires a lot of electricity to do that. And so, Brandon, what's clear to me through this discussion is that the most expensive watts are the ones to generate power, are the ones that we need to get rid of first. So things that we don't really need for electric devices, those devices, we need to get rid of them first. So, for example, an electric clothes dryer, that gets replaced with maybe a propane, right?
Propane's a great option. It stores for a long time. It's a very stable fuel, so that the electric clothes dryer is probably the first to go.
Mm-hmm. And you want to minimize your clothes ironing. And so, those devices that consume a lot of electricity, you need to shed them right away, like incandescent light bulbs. They got to go. And in favor of something else. So what I'm doing, Brandon, in preparation to determine the size of the inverter and the battery bank, I am replacing the lighting in this house. We had incandescent, replace that with compact fluorescence and fluorescence, but they're going too because of the amount of electromagnetic radiation that they generate. And I'm replacing that with LED, just 12 volt LED lighting. So my plan is to shed as many watts as we can and get to the point where we have a battery bank and an inverter that can supply enough electricity. I'm not talking about living in the lap of luxury, but I would like to be able to broadcast, 2 hours a day, run the computers, and then shut them down after the broadcast. I'd like to be able to print with a laser printer. I turn it on when I use it, and then off it goes, so it doesn't sit, drawing power. So that's another thing we need to talk about, right? Turn off the devices that we're not using while they're sitting idling, yes?
That's a great idea. And I had a quick question for you. You had mentioned on the air a couple weeks ago that you were looking for a gas stove to replace your electric stove, and you were looking for an older model with a pilot light. Have you been able to find a good gas stove to replace your electric?
Well, what I have, I actually have an electric stove. I have a General Electric drop-in range. But the problem is that the broiler uses a heating element that draws about 600 watts. So this thing is like if you look at it, it glows red hot, and it glows red hot for the entire time that you're baking or broiling. And they call that a safety feature. Should the flame go out, you won't have propane gas, just, building up inside the oven compartment or cavity ready for an explosion. So they have this heating element glowing red hot. That's what I need to get rid of. So what I'm looking for is a different gas stove of an older manufacturing date that did not have this electronic heating element. So I have a gas stove, and that was because we have a gas stove because we knew we would be going to solar someday. And 10 years ago, we bought this gas stove, but it's still too new. No, I have not found one with a pilot light.
I'm looking for one too. So when you find one, please let us know. And,
I'll see if I can get two.
And one quick note on those LED lights. I've been looking into this for a while. So just a quick note for your listeners: when you're looking at an LED light bulb, there's various color temperatures, and so those old fluorescents we're running at what is around 3,500 Kelvin or 3,500 K. But the really yellow, the warm white light that we're accustomed to from an incandescent bulb is coming in at about 2,700 Kelvin or 2,700 K. And that's marked right there on the packaging for the LED bulb. So don't necessarily get caught up in the number of lumens or the light output, because those cool whites, they're not pleasing to the eye, but they have a higher output. Personally, I prefer the 2,700 Kelvin. I'll sacrifice a little bit of light output for the quality of the light coming out of that bulb.
That's exactly the decision I made for the studio. Warm white LEDs. We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit guns80.com, guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
You pick up the receiver. With your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead, you finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason! Jason! Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
Interact with the hosts you're listening to right now online at gcnlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with a host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at gcnlive.com.
Are you suffering from EP? The symptoms include fraudulent charges to your credit card. Your subway card says it's empty, but you bought it yesterday. Someone's been in your hotel room, but the desk clerk says they only show you entering the room. These are signs of EP. Electronic pickpocketing. Payment cards, transit cards, even hotel room keys use a radio chip, so you can just wave your card at the register, the turnstile, or your hotel room door. But what's convenient for you is also convenient for thieves, waving scanners to electronically pickpocket you without even touching you. The good news is there's a cure. ID Stronghold has created leather wallets and clutches that have built-in EP protection. Layers of shielding material cleverly concealed in a beautiful leather wallet that stops the symptoms of EP. Go to idstronghold.com now and get the cure. idstronghold.com. Warning, ID Stronghold wallets could lead to feelings of safety and security, comfort in crowds, and euphoria. If you experience these emotions, immediately inform your friends and family about idstronghold.com so they can feel better too.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. All over America, people are suffering from issues related to angina pain, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, irregular heartbeat, clogged arteries, and high cholesterol. Can you live your life free from sickness, pain, and fear, and experience your body healing itself? Look to Heart and Body Extract, an all-natural supplement that aids ailing bodies. It has an exclusive formula of wild-crafted and organic herbs. End the pain without all the side effects of prescription drugs. People 20 years younger will envy your vitality. Want a happier, healthier you? Then go to heartandbody.com or call toll-free 866-295-5305 for free information. Heart and Body Extract offers a lifetime guarantee with no price increase in over 14 years. What are you waiting for? Call Heart and Body now at 866-295-5305 for your free information. Go to heartandbody.com, 866-295-5305. Distributor inquiries welcome.
Did you know that drinking pure, high alkaline water is one of the most important factors in maintaining high energy and vibrant health? Most experts agree that the water you drink should be at a pH level of 8 or higher. AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops, available only at alkavision.com, combine a unique formula of only the most alkaline minerals. AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops alkalize your water, ridding the body of harmful toxins, and helps you regain health and energy. Alkalizing your water by simply adding 10 drops of AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops helps the body rid itself of acidic waste, increases oxygen content, and raises the pH of your body to healthy levels. And bacteria and viruses cannot survive in an alkaline high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops for only $29.95 at alkavision.com. That's ALKAvision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health at alkavision.com today.
Class Brandon Williams with us, and he is the CEO of IronEdison.com. 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 You can go to the website and learn more about what we're talking about. Brandon, we were talking about shedding watts, you know, the most expensive watts to provide energy for are those big draws like the electric clothes dryer. Another one would be the electric iron. Another one would be if you heat your water in your electric dishwasher. Another one, which absolutely has to go, in my opinion, is the electric stove and the electric range. I mean, they all you got to look at those as first to go when you build your solar array, because to provide solar power for those devices is just cost prohibitive. Now, if money is no object, then no problem. Keep all of your devices, but you'll have a huge solar array, a huge battery bank, and a huge inverter, right?
That's exactly right, and that's not the most economically viable option for a lot of people, is to replace their grid hookup with $100,000 worth of solar and battery, and that's not what we recommend. Most people will find that they can get by with a portion of the circuits in their house backed up by the solar and battery system. So it really makes sense to be efficient.
And what Brandon, just as a side note, what I did is I bought a generator. It's a diesel generator. I found it for less than $1,500. It's 5,000 watts. It's a 2-cylinder military surplus, and it will run, just believe it or not, 5,000 watts will run most of our house because it's a real 5,000 watts. It's a massive generator. It's the size of, literally, it's the size of a refrigerator on its side. I mean, it's huge. It weighs well over 1,000 pounds. So, and you can find those. So if you're thinking about building your system, you can look for a diesel generator. And mine is called an MP002A. MP, as in military police, 002, the number 2, the letter A. Brandon, next is the grid tie with the battery backup. Now, some people might really like that one because you have the best of everything, right?
Best of all worlds here. We can use the grid when it's available. We can feed excess power back to the grid if you've got a good agreement with the utility, or in the case of that we were discussing before, where the utility is not giving you, the homeowner, the best rate for the energy you're giving back to them. They're paying you the wholesale rate at about 4 cents per kilowatt hour rather than the 12 cents you're buying from them at. So then, to preserve the value of the kilowatt hour, it makes sense to store that energy on site. And that's the grid tie with battery backup system. The solar charges the battery during the day. At night, you come home to use the electricity in your house and discharge the battery. And in the same way where the inverter signaled your generator to start up on heavy loads or heavy demand, the inverter will do the same thing with the grid in a grid tie battery backup. When the battery is low or when your loads are excessively high, the inverter will automatically signal the grid to help out for just as long as you need it. And as soon as your heavy demands go away, the grid is signaled to stop.
Mm-hmm. Back in well over a year ago, a couple of years ago, John and Judy Dollarheight and their son and I were coming to the rescue of one of our instructors, Mark Baker. He was attacked by the government for raising pigs, and they were coming down on him for $700,000. And on the way home, we stopped at a museum, and we saw some really neat cars, the Auburn, and some other fabulous examples of early cars. And one of the cars that we saw, I believe, was a 1906 electric car, fully electric. No diesel engine, no gasoline engine. It was fully electric. And let's talk about well, that would be the battery that Thomas Edison invented, it wouldn't it?
That's exactly right. It was probably a 1906 Baker Electric, and developed using the battery developed by Thomas Edison. Jay Leno actually owns a couple of these, one of which still has its original nickel iron battery.
And all right, so this 1906, well over 100-year-old car is using the original batteries that came with the car?
Using the original battery, and the reason why is that the nickel iron battery doesn't degrade like the lead acid battery over time. The plates of the nickel iron battery don't dissolve into the electrolyte, and the way that it charges is by accepting oxygen and releasing oxygen. So the plates of the nickel iron battery never change from being nickel oxide and iron oxide. It's a very stable chemistry.
And that is exactly how we met, because I was interested in the nickel iron battery that you offer, because I thought, why would I want to build a solar system with let's say the solar panels themselves will have almost full power for 25 years, might go on for 50 years. Actually, we don't even know. But why would I want to do that with batteries that might last 2 to 7 years and have to keep replacing them and look for sources in the future? And I don't know what the future holds, but it doesn't seem all that promising to me. So I would want batteries that would last 30, 40, 50, 100 years and pass them on to, our family, who hopefully will still be able to hold on to the farm. So that's where the nickel iron batteries come in. So they were invented over 100 years ago. And, what kind of work went into making these batteries? Do you know about the experiments, or how many experiments that went on?
Yeah, absolutely. So Thomas Edison looked at the problem of the lead acid battery 100 years ago, and Thomas Edison did over 10,000 experiments in his lab in New Jersey to find the perfect combination of materials to go into his battery. So he tested again and again and again. He was relentless in his testing to find exactly the right combination. And he developed the nickel iron alkaline battery. He thought it was nearly perfect because it's nearly indestructible.
So what do we do if we want to use this battery? Can you just describe physically what this battery is like compared to, the car battery, the small light truck battery that we're used to today? How is this different?
It's a little different, Vincent. So the car battery that we're used to is a sealed lead acid battery. That sealed lead acid battery has the shortest life of any battery when used in this deep cycle application, but it's a great fit for under your hood. It only works once or twice a day. It's a fairly small physical size, and if your car were to get in an accident and tip over, nothing is going to spill out of that sealed lead acid battery. But as we know, if you've owned a car for long enough, after 2 or 3 or maybe 4 years, you have to replace that lead acid battery. And just think, it's only being used a couple times a day in a very short period of time, and it's making it 3 or 4 years before replacement. So if you're using that battery hours and hours every day, you can just imagine how quickly that battery performance will fade with the lead acid chemistry.
All right, let's talk about depth. Let's talk about the depth of discharge then. So, for example, when I turn the engine over, I crank it over, as it were, to start my engine, my gasoline or my diesel engine, the starter is only engaged to turn that engine a couple revolutions, and then the engine fires up, and I'm not starting it anymore. So that high load, I have a high load for 2 seconds, right? And my engine starts. So the depth of discharge is not that great. But if I were to take that battery down to like 50% charge, does that damage the battery?
Every time you discharge a lead acid battery, you're causing damage to that battery. It will never come back up to its original state. Every time it's discharged, especially as you go down further and further below 50%, 60%, 70%, you're causing irreversible damage through sulfation. It's an incomplete chemical reaction that's occurring in the lead acid battery. So it's just, it's not the best fit for this deep cycle application, but it's cheap. So it's attractive for an upfront investment for somebody who's looking at an entire system cost where they're seeing panels, inverters, charge controllers, wires, installation, and now batteries on top of that. But the replacement cost of lead acid batteries at the first replacement will exceed that of purchasing a higher quality battery up front.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then let's talk about so if you use a standard lead acid battery, you still have the problems of hydrogen gas, and the length of life is, let's say, 7 years would probably be on the high end. And if we switch to the Edison battery, instead of being 12 volts in a package, how many volts do we have in a package?
Each package, each cell or each individual unit is 1.2 volts. And we're able to wire those batteries together in series, which is positive to negative connections, to create a higher voltage battery. So using 10 of those 1.2 volt cells in series, we can create a 12 volt battery. 20 cells wired in series will be a 24 volt battery. And then 40 cells wired in series will create a 48 volt battery.
Okay. So if I wanted to build the ultimate system, and I'm sure I want to do what others who are in our class would like to do, to me, it seems like the higher the voltage of the battery bank, the more efficient it will be to transmit that electricity, that current, to the inverter. Is that correct? And I've got a better point to start with if I'm trying to go from, let's say, 48 volts to 120 versus 12 volts to 120. Am I better off with a higher voltage battery bank?
You definitely are better with a higher voltage bank. The 48 is a great choice for a high power system.
Okay. Brandon Williams is with us. He's the CEO of IronEdison.com. We're going to be right back for the last segment in just a couple minutes after these few short commercial announcements. By now, you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
If the IRS has garnished your paycheck or seized money from your bank account, you need to get professional tax help now. Fast action is required to put a halt to these aggressive IRS collection tactics. You can count on the knowledgeable team of tax professionals at Wall & Associates. With over 30 years of experience, Wall & Associates has settled the tax problems of thousands of taxpayers for a small fraction of what they owed. For a free face-to-face consultation, call 1-800-425-4610 to put a wall between you and the IRS. 1-800-425-4610 or look for us on the web at wallandassociates.net. We solve tax problems. If you hire Wall & Associates today, you'll never have to talk to the IRS again. To stop the levies and seizures today, take action now. Call Wall & Associates at 1-800-425-4610. Wall & Associates, 1-800-425-4610. Based on actual cases, results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services.
I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Longevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Why do over 50% of North Americans suffer from some form of chronic ailment? Could it be due to a toxic overload? It's time to take back your life. Get the lead out as well as the cadmium, mercury, and calcium. Extendovite is a garlic cayenne supplement with 5 other herbs that acts like a natural Drano, cleaning out the stored toxins, restoring your energy and youthfulness that we've lost. If you would like to live your life free of sickness, pain, or fear, then Extendovite is for you. Available in either capsules or liquid, you too can see why Extendovite is the #1 heart drop available. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
This is a nationwide announcement for consumers owing back taxes to the IRS. The slowdown in the U.S. economy has forced renewed action by the Internal Revenue Service. The IRS is now accepting reduced settlement amounts from qualifying consumers who owe back taxes. If you're eligible, your back tax settlement may be discounted by thousands of dollars. A specially assigned national hotline has been directly routed to Defense Tax Group. Consumers may now call and check their eligibility for a significant tax debt reduction. Financial stability is a major priority during this slow economy, so you're advised to dial this national hotline number now. 800-678-4191. If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, you may now find significant relief. You could save thousands of dollars if you qualify. Call now and get free vital information and to check your eligibility for a significant tax debt reduction. Call the Defense Tax Group now. 800-678-4191. That's 800-678-4191. 800-678-4191.
Class, Brandon Williams is with us. He's the CEO of IronEdison.com. And Brandon, we have joining us from the United Kingdom, Miles, USAPrepares.com senior instructor. Welcome, Miles.
Good morning, gentlemen. Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you 5 by 5.
Hi, Miles. Good morning, William. I'm calling in because I have a question for you. I'm operating here a 22,000 volt system, and I have a capacitor bank connected to the inverter that takes the higher loads in order to save the battery life. And the second one I just wanted to throw in, we have on each battery, we have these called battery activators to prevent the sulfation on the batteries in order to have a longer lifespan or a much longer lifespan on the normal lead acid battery. And the third thing I wanted to ask you, have you had any experiences with the copper type batteries? And that's all for now. I'll let you go. Thank you very much. By the way,
Miles, very quickly, did you say 22,000 volts or 22,000 watts?
Watts, I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay.
By the way,
good.
I'm calling you from the snow. We have 1.6 feet of snow in 2 days, and I'm calling you at 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's pretty interesting for end of May with us here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Miles, thanks so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. There was Miles from Europe. So what he's asking is about the sulfation. What are your thoughts on that?
The sulfation occurs with every cycle of the battery. So there's different products on the market, like a desulfator. Miles mentioned a battery activator. Those will help to extend the life of a lead acid battery. Really, the best way to extend the life of that battery is to use as little of that battery as possible. So that means sizing a lead acid battery that's much larger than the required capacity. The sulfator just keeps a charge going through the battery, and with lead acid, one of the problems there is you can't let that battery sit on the shelf for more than a year. That the battery will essentially self-destruct through sulfation. So that activator is going to help preserve the shelf life, and especially when he's not using the battery, it'll kind of keep it going for a little longer.
So when we talked with Kyle, and Kyle Harris from Montana, who lives off grid, called in last class with you, what he does is he tries not to let his lead acid batteries go down below 90% charge. So he only takes them down to 90%, and then he'll charge them back up because he wants to prolong that life, just as you're saying, which really means exactly what you said. You've got to have a bit bigger battery bank, which is more dollars. So now how low can you take an iron battery, nickel iron battery?
So Kyle had talked about using only 10% of his total battery capacity. With the nickel iron battery, we can use up to 80% of the total capacity of the battery without causing any damage or any sulfation. That's really separates the nickel iron battery from any other type of battery, whether it be lead acid, lithium, or anything else on the market.
I'm trying to...
a huge depth of discharge.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of the arithmetic involved. Does that literally mean that for safety purposes for the battery, just battery itself, we would have 8 times 8 times the amount of discharge capability for the nickel iron as we would for the lead acid.
With assuming Kyle's depth of discharge of 10%, and most lead acid users go to about 30% depth of discharge. And again, with the nickel iron, we're going down to 80% depth of discharge. So essentially, we can use half as much nickel iron battery, or the same size battery will give you almost 3 times as much available capacity for use on an everyday basis.
Okay, and what is the cost differential? We only have a few seconds left. What is the cost differential, Brandon Williams, between...
We can be about 2 or 2.5 times the price of a lead acid battery, but we're going to last 5 to 10 times longer. So it really makes sense to make this upfront investment.
Brandon, I've got you scheduled for the 5th of next month, which is a Friday, so we're going to be coming back on the air with the next class in alternative energy. Brandon Williams.
Always a pleasure, Mr. Finelli. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us. Brandon Williams of IronEdison.com. And he and I are going to design the system for the farm. We'll be right back after these few short commercial announcements.
The economy is teetering on the edge. Spending and taxes are at all-time highs. Average Americans are hanging on by their fingertips. Is the American dream dead? Can it be restored? Join us at Freedom Fest, the world's largest gathering of free minds, in Las Vegas, July 8th through 11th, to hear the historic debate between Paul Krugman and Steve Moore. Plus, Senator Mike Lee, publisher Steve Forbes, billionaire Steve Wynn, and media mogul Glenn Beck tell us how America finds her way back. Discover the new American dream. Register today at freedomfest.com to find out. That's freedomfest.com.
It's Katie Armour's 15% off sale now through Memorial Day. All Katie Armour is now 15% off. Katie's all-new Level 4 body armor is made in the USA and can withstand the toughest of rifle rounds. Why would you buy anything else? That's Katie Armour's 15% off sale now through Memorial Day. Get your Level 4 body armor while you still can. Go to katiearmor.com. That's CATI armor.com. Come and take it.
You pick up the receiver. With your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead, you finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason!
Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
Interact with the host you're listening to right now, online at GCNlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at GCNlive.com.
The human body is extraordinary, despite all the stress we inflict upon it. Thousands of people across the country use an extremely effective product to help their body stay balanced. It's Heart and Body Extract, an all-natural herbal formula designed to help maintain healthy blood pressure, clean arteries, promote good circulation, and balance cholesterol. Heart and Body Extract, along with good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free from pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body healing itself with the aid of Heart and Body Extract. Learn more and read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers at heartandbody.com. Heart and Body Extracts offers a lifetime guarantee with no price increase in over 14 years. For free info, call 866-295-5305 now. That's 866-295-5305 or heartandbody.com. Distributor inquiries welcome. 866-295-5305.
The next thing I'm going to say is just for you, Katie. Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Your dial set correctly. Hour number 2, USAPrepares.com with Katie Singer. And Katie Singer is the author of An Electronic Silent Spraying. You can get this book on Amazon. And I've written a review of the book. I think it's fabulous. This book is going to change your life. If you read this book, you're going to be very inclined to do what I've done. be very concerned, even more concerned. I've been very concerned about electromagnetic radiation, electronic interference for years, actually decades. Well, I don't have a cell phone anymore, and I was just talking with our engineer and John, and I was telling him that not having a cell phone is like the greatest thing. Not having a cell phone is the greatest thing. Welcome, Katie Singer.
Good morning, Vincent.
Katie, I've got to tell you, I was saying to John, our engineer, some people, when they get their cell phone, they go, wow, how did I ever live without this thing? And I said to him,
I really want to hear, can you tell me 3 things that are fantastic about not having a cell phone?
Okay. 3 things. And I was telling John one of those 3 things.
Okay.
And let me describe how I lived with the cell phone previously. So because of the camera this is an iPhone, because of the camera on the front and the camera on the back, I had a piece of electrical tape over the camera lens on the front and the back, 2 pieces of electrical tape. And that would be to prevent pictures being taken, images being taken without my knowledge, turned on and surveillance of the Finelli family. So
and wait,
I had the tape on.
Can I clarify
Sure.
that we know that our National Security Administration can do that even if your phone is turned off?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So we just need to clarify that. Okay, and
Yes.
so you put some kind of tape on your phone to prevent the turning on from being able to make you photographed against your
knowledge,
knowing it.
Against my will and against my me not knowing it. Yes.
Okay.
So I had this 2 pieces of electrical tape over the camera, and I suggest everyone consider doing this. If you still are not convinced that you got to dump your cell phone, make sure you put tape over the lenses, front and back. And the reason I've done electrical tape is if I want to take an image of geoengineering or something like that, I could just peel the tape off and it didn't really mar up the lens. So that's why I used a black electrical tape. So the phone had electrical tape over it. Then I would wrap the phone in a hand towel and I would put the wrapped cell phone in a drawer in the powder room in the kitchen. So we have this like little bathroom off to the side of the kitchen, and I would put it in the cabinet, the sink cabinet, the base cabinet of the bathroom, and close the drawer and close the door of the bathroom. All right. So one thing that I enjoy about not having a cell phone is I don't have to be concerned. And the reason I did that was because I know that this thing has a really sensitive microphone, so they could pick up and listen to everything that's going on in the kitchen. So I'd wrap it in a towel to muffle the sound, and I would block the view from the lenses with black electrical tape, and I don't have to do that anymore. That's number 1. Number 2 is people would call me or text me. Let's say they would text me, and if I were in the kitchen with Mrs. Finelli and helping with, let's say making dinner or cleaning up or working on the computer in the kitchen, this thing would ding and I'd have to get up, and it wouldn't say, hey, you've got a message from so-and-so. It would just go ding. And I would have to go into the powder room, open the drawer, take out the towel, unwrap the cell phone, and respond to the email or the text. And it could be just not very important. And then I'd put it all back together, close the door, and then a couple minutes later it would go ding again. And one simple message might require 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 responses. I really wish that person would just call me, because I could say, okay, the answer is 12. Whatever the question was, I could answer the question and be done with it rather than get up. That was really nice. And then the third, so I don't have that problem anymore. The next thing that's great about not having a cell phone is not having that the additional electromagnetic radiation coming from it. I mean, the list goes on and on, but those are just a few of the short pleasantries of, well, heck, I don't have that bill anymore either.
This all works for me.
So how much is a cell phone bill? Well, it starts out with, you can add that cell phone for $10 a month. And you want data. That's another 30. And then there's a tax and another tax and another tax and another tax. And then there's another tax. So by the time you're done, it's close to $60. But it was started out as 10, but no, you have a smartphone now. So that $10 phone is now a smartphone, and that thing is, over $60. Okay. That's if you only want, like a couple 100 minutes a month. Or if you, and then if you multiply that out, you're close to $1,000 a year for a phone. That's without buying the phone. So it is absolutely delightful not having that cell phone.
I say congratulations, Vincent Finelli.
But you know what? People.
Tell me.
One of my broadcast friends, Sam Bushman, I was on the phone with him and on the landline, and I said, I dumped my cell phone. He goes, no, man, no, you can't do that. And I go, yeah, I did. No, yeah, I really did. And the reason I'm saying that is he was surprised that I, as a broadcaster, have distanced myself from instant access. You can't get me whenever a person feels like it. And I'm starting to get some complaints about that. But the complaints are backing off. It's like, hey, don't you answer the phone?
But it sounds like you're getting a life. You're getting your life back.
I have my life back. And so when I go out on the farm, if let's say I'm on the tractor, when I'm on the tractor, I'm trying really hard not to kill animals. And I really mean that. So if I'm mowing hay or checking the fields, there are little animals that live out in these fields. The last thing I want to do is run over a baby deer or a raccoon or even a skunk. I don't want to do that. I don't even want to run over a turtle or a mouse. So I really pay attention. But if I'm talking on the phone while I'm riding around on a tractor, in a cab, I can't devote full attention. Just like I can't devote full attention if I were behind the wheel of a car or a truck, going 88 feet or faster per second down the highway.
Let alone making a meal and cleaning it up with Mrs. Finelli.
Isn't that delightful?
Wow. Yeah. You might have actual conversation with the people you live with.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Can I share, Vincent, I think this is major news. The town of Berkeley, the city of Berkeley, California, has passed a cell phone right-to-know ordinance. Their city council voted 9-0 for this ordinance on May 12th, and it will require places that sell cell phones. They want a handout that will read. I'm going to read what this handout should say. To assure safety, the federal government requires that cell phones meet radio frequency exposure guidelines. If you carry or use your phone in a pants or shirt pocket or tucked into a bra when the phone is on and connected to a wireless network, then you may exceed the federal guidelines for exposure to radio frequency radiation. The potential risk is greater for children. Refer to the instructions in your phone or user manual for information about how to use your phone safely. So Berkeley wants this notice posted wherever mobile phones are sold. And they have voted 9-0 in favor of this handout. But guess what? There are people who don't think this is a good idea. I know you're shocked.
Of course. Well, no, of course there are people who don't think it's a good idea, and they would be the people who are a part of the death squad trying to kill us. As a matter of fact, Dr. Richard Allen Miller was on the air with us yesterday, as he is almost every Thursday for 2 hours, the real Fox Mulder of the X-Files, and he said that he was in communication with an engineer from Motorola, and he asked why they picked 5 gigahertz, and the engineer said there are too many people. So you connect those dots. There are too many people. We have cell phones that'll fix the problem of too many people. So you look at Johnny Cochran, you look at Ted Kennedy. They both died of brain cancer.
The people who oppose this cell phone right to know ordinance in Berkeley would be the Wireless Association.
Mm-hmm.
The corporations that sell wireless communications, wireless devices and wireless services. And do you know why they legally are? They're saying probably they're going to sue the city of Berkeley, and they will say, we expect that their free speech rights are infringed upon because corporations have civil rights similar to individual people. And if we say we want labeling on phones that announces how much radiation you will absorb while you're using a particular phone, that infringes on their free speech rights because it's telling them what to say. If this doesn't make sense, you're exactly right. It does not make sense, except that corporations have human rights the same as any individual person.
Well, if you use the free speech argument, well, then we would have free speech to post the dangers of electromagnetic radiation.
Probably it'll go to court to see who wins.
Yeah, so it's a battle of who has the most money and who is accepting the most bribes within the system. Yeah. Well, we'll just continue exposing it because it doesn't cost us all that much money to do what we're doing. We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Making the right decisions is a challenge to investors. Are we going to see economic growth, slide into a recession, or at worst, depression? Hi, Ted Anderson from Midas Resources. We all know when a company acts irresponsibly, divesting ourselves in a move towards safety is prudent. When the market is volatile, U.S. Treasuries are a safe haven. But what do you do when the U.S. government overextends itself and spends beyond its means? Many investors are turning toward gold as a common-sense alternative to traditional paper investments. Midas Resources has put together a powerful book titled 10 Reasons to Own Gold, discussing costs, benefits, risks, featuring full-color illustrations, weights, and measures. The book is free and can be yours by calling 800-686-2237. Paper investments are dwarfed by gold's 6,000-year history. Discover how gold may be right for you and your IRA by calling 800-686-2237. Whether buying or it's time for you to sell, the book is free. Call 800-686-2237.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Hey neighbor, what are you doing digging? You had a heart attack last year.
Oh, I know. I was told no more hard labor.
Then why are you digging?
Well, I've been taking Extendovite. It's been approved to help my heart.
Extendovite? Is that a new drug?
No, not a drug. It's more like an herbal combination made from garlic and cayenne.
Herbal? How can that help?
Well, actually, we've taken herbs for thousands of years. Extendovite is doing the job for me.
Does your doctor know about Extendovite?
Yeah, my doctor knows, and he said it seems to be working for you, so don't stop taking it. I feel great taking Extendovite. I don't want to stop.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Are you suffering from EP? The symptoms include fraudulent charges to your credit card. Your subway card says it's empty, but you bought it yesterday. Someone's been in your hotel room, but the desk clerk says they only show you entering the room. These are signs of EP, electronic pickpocketing. Payment cards, transit cards, even hotel room keys use a radio chip, so you can just wave your card at the register, the turnstile, or your hotel room door. But what's convenient for you is also convenient for thieves, waving scanners to electronically pickpocket you without even touching you. The good news is there's a cure. ID Stronghold has created leather wallets and clutches that have built-in EP protection. Layers of shielding material cleverly concealed in a beautiful leather wallet that stops the symptoms of EP. Go to idstronghold.com now and get the cure. idstronghold.com. Warning, ID Stronghold wallets could lead to feelings of safety and security, comfort in crowds, and euphoria. If you experience these emotions, immediately inform your friends and family about idstronghold.com so they can feel better.
Katie Singer's with us, and we're talking about electromagnetic radiation, and we're talking about labeling and warnings, and I'm really concerned about the electromagnetic radiation. So because I'm so concerned about it, I've dumped my cell phone. I don't have a cell phone. You can't call me on a cell phone. I don't have one. And I suggest that others consider doing the same. Not only will we save money, which is a great thing, not only will we be paying less tax, which is a really great thing, but you'll also be protecting yourself from some of the electromagnetic radiation that's around you, because it's all around us, Katie.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Can I announce? Go ahead.
Sure. Go ahead. Make your announcement. Sure.
I've got an announcement. I just posted on my website, electronicsilentspring.com, a new report about safer solar power. A lot of people don't know that solar power systems can generate magnetic fields and radio frequency fields, also known as electromagnetic radiation. And my report explains how that happens and what you can do to reduce your exposure to EMR if you have a solar power system or if you're thinking of building one. Mm-hmm. It's at electronicssilentspring.com, and you need to go to the intro packet on solar power.
Okay. Would it be okay if I post a link to that from our website?
Oh, sure. That'd be great. Mm-hmm. You know what I could do is just explain a little bit how we get electromagnetic radiation from solar power systems. Shall I try that?
Sure, that would be great.
Okay. So solar panels collect sunlight, and then they make direct current electricity out of the sunlight. If you want alternating current for your house from that collected direct current, then the direct current has to go through an inverter. Inverters are like transformers, and they generate magnetic fields. So that's one major source of electromagnetic radiation. Then, if you're sending electricity back to the utility company, so if you generate more electricity than you use, and you send some electricity back to your electric company, you'll have a net meter put on your house, and it works basically like a smart meter, and it will emit radio frequency fields in its transmitting information, data, to the electric company. So there would be another source of electromagnetic radiation with the net meter. Also, and this is really important, regardless whether you've got a solar power system or not, people can have wiring errors, and they can have electronics in the home that are generating magnetic fields. And we all need to start cleaning up our wiring errors and unplugging electronics when we are not using them. I would also vote for using non-electric tools and teaching our children to use non-electric tools as much as possible. But first steps are cleaning up wiring errors and unplugging devices that you do not use. We could, to get more specific, I think we might start with lighting. And what I propose, Mr. Finelli, is that if I say what people need to eliminate and I give some quick solutions, I know you've been talking about switching to a direct current system with 12 volt, which is much safer than using alternating current. And I would love to hear more about what you're discovering. But let me start by saying compact fluorescent lights, really any fluorescent lights, are not good. For one thing, they've got mercury in them that goes into our landfills, and someone just told me the other day that 10 million compact fluorescent lights are discarded every day, and those go into our landfills with the mercury in them. That is not good for us. But also, compact fluorescents, any kind of fluorescent, emits electromagnetic radiation. I can tell more about that after the break.
Okay, that sounds great. And Katie, I have some measurements for the class today. I did measure the electromagnetic radiation around the farmhouse.
Oh, cool.
And I think we are going to release some staggering information. We'll be right back. By now, you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
You pick up the receiver with your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead. You finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason! Jason!
Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
Interact with the host you're listening to right now, online at GCNlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at GCNlive.com.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. All over America, people are suffering from issues related to angina pain, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, irregular heartbeat, clogged arteries, and high cholesterol. Can you live your life free from sickness, pain, and fear, and experience your body healing itself? Look to Heart and Body Extract, an all-natural supplement that aids ailing bodies. It has an exclusive formula of wild-crafted and organic herbs. End the pain without all the side effects of prescription drugs. People 20 years younger will envy your vitality. Want a happier, healthier you? Then go to heartandbody.com or call toll-free 866-295-5305 for free information. Heart and Body Extract offers a lifetime guarantee with no price increase in over 14 years. What are you waiting for? Call Heart and Body now at 866-295-5305 for your free information. Go to heartandbody.com, 866-295-5305. Distributor inquiries welcome.
This is a nationwide announcement for consumers owing back taxes to the IRS. The slowdown in the U.S. economy has forced renewed action by the Internal Revenue Service. The IRS is now accepting reduced settlement amounts from qualifying consumers who owe back taxes. If you're eligible, your back tax settlement may be discounted by thousands of dollars. A specially assigned national hotline has been directly routed to Defense Tax Group. Consumers may now call and check their eligibility for a significant tax debt reduction. Financial stability is a major priority during this slow economy, so you're advised to dial this national hotline number now. 800-678-4191. If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, you may now find significant relief. You could save thousands of dollars if you qualify. Call now and get free vital information and to check your eligibility for a significant tax debt reduction. Call the Defense Tax Group now. 800-678-4191. That's 800-678-4191. 800-678-4191.
If the IRS has garnished your paycheck or seized money from your bank account, you need to get professional tax help now. Fast action is required to put a halt to these aggressive IRS collection tactics. You can count on the knowledgeable team of tax professionals at Wall & Associates. With over 30 years of experience, Wall & Associates has settled the tax problems of thousands of taxpayers for a small fraction of what they owed. For a free face-to-face consultation, call 1-800-425-4610 to put a wall between you and the IRS. 1-800-425-4610 or look for us on the web at wallandassociates.net. We solve tax problems. If you hire Wall & Associates today, you'll never have to talk to the IRS again. To stop the levies and seizures today, take action now. Call Wall & Associates at 1-800-425-4610. Wall & Associates. 1-800-425-4610. Based on actual cases, results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services.
Katie Singer's with us, and Katie, did you want to continue with your comments?
Yes, I want to explain how compact fluorescents generate electromagnetic radiation. They require electronic ballasts, which are basically transformers, because the bulb is essentially designed for DC. You plug it into a socket that's got AC available, you need what's called an electronic ballast to make the DC-AC work. And that will generate magnetic fields. It will also chop up your 60 hertz wires. It'll chop up that pure sine wave and generate more electromagnetic radiation. So that's not good for people who live in or work or go to school in buildings with compact fluorescents or other kinds of fluorescent bulbs. And of course, we want energy efficiency. We don't want it at the expense of our health. So what is possible, LEDs are better. The incandescents were great with 60 hertz, but they took up too much energy. So right now the best we've got, I think, is LED bulbs. And dimmer switches are also not good for health. They also generate electromagnetic radiation. What's better there would be three-way switches. So instead of, I don't know, is that a variable speed motor on a dimmer switch, Vincent? Would you say that?
No, a dimmer switch. Some motors can be made variable with an electric control, which of course would emit electromagnetic radiation as well.
Yeah.
But are you talking about a silicon controlled rectifier, an SCR? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know about that. I know. Okay, so if you've got a dimmer switch, you could have a knob or a kind of button that goes up and down slowly. It doesn't switch.
Mm-hmm.
And that knob or the sliding.
You're talking about a potentiometer?
These are.
That's what you're talking about. You're talking about a variable. You're talking about a variable resistor or a potentiometer. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so those will emit radiation. And what is better would be like those old-fashioned lamps that had, if you wanted it soft lighting, you were on the first switch. If you wanted it a little brighter, you'd go to the second switch. And if you wanted it really bright, you'd go to the third switch, like a three-way switch. Those are safer.
What you're talking about is an SCR, silicon controlled rectifier type dimmer that modulates the AC such that it causes an electromagnetic field. Those are the ones that we're concerned about. Those would be the dimmer switches in the wall. What you're saying is not as much of a problem, or not a problem at all, would be a light that has, let's say, low, medium, high, or
Correct.
50 watts, 100 watts, or 150 watts. Those are not a problem. That would be an incandescent light, the old-fashioned light.
Okay. So those are my two
And I think
tips.
they used to... Okay, and I think they used to call those three-way lights. And three-way would be 50 watts low, 100 watts medium, and 150 watts high. So three settings. Okay, here's what I did, Katie. I have one of our instructors is named Bill Lee. He's the president of Trifield.com, TRIFIELD.com. And I have a Trifield meter in my hand, and I've had one for several years. And I learned about it from Dr. Norman Shealy. And he was very concerned about electromagnetic radiation in Springfield, Missouri. As a matter of fact, he shut down his clinic and moved outside the city of Springfield because he measured electromagnetic fields outside the building, and he couldn't get away from it, so he just moved out of the city and moved his clinic into the country. So I have this Trifield meter that Dr. Shealy talked about, and we've had Bill Lee, president of Trifield.com, on the air with us. He's one of our instructors here at USA Prepares. So I took the Trifield meter and
Can we clarify what the Trifield? So the Trifield measures electric fields, magnetic fields, and radio frequency fields. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have one. So I have this device, and I measured around the farmhouse. Now I'm really, really, really careful about wiring. I wired the building myself, all of our buildings, and I designed it, and I wired it, pulled the wire, connected the wire, all the connections, every bit of the electrical wiring in this farmhouse and the entire farm I've done it. So I know where all these wires are. And I did it right. I did it to code. And let me give you some of the surprising electromagnetic radiation measurements. In the kitchen, we have a small Dell Optiplex computer that I bought used. I bought about 7 or 8 of these used. And it's a plastic small package. It, at 8 inches from this Dell Optiplex computer, it measures 3 milligauss. Now that's, at that point, Dr. Shealy is concerned. 3 milligauss or more.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what I did was I put the meter right in contact with it. So I put the meter right up against the Dell Optiplex. When the meter is in contact with the package or the computer plastic package, it reads 100 plus milligauss. It's in contact. Now, the farther away you move from it, the lower the electromagnetic radiation. So at 8 inches, it's 3 milligauss. If you're in contact with it, it's at 100.
Like if your fingers are on the...
The keyboard is I did not measure the keyboard, but I can do that I'll do that right this second because I'm sitting in front of an Optiplex. I get no significant reading from the keyboard.
And to be clear, it's a wired keyboard, correct?
Correct. I do not have any wireless devices in the house.
Okay.
Except, actually, I do. I have one wireless device, and that is an atomic clock. It's like a school clock. It's the size of a school clock, and it's an analog clock. Other than that, and that's picking up a transmission from the Naval Observatory. Anyway, so the Dell monitor, a 19-inch monitor, 2 inches from the monitor is 3 milligauss plus, a little over 3.
How far do you have to sit back before it gets to a safe level, which would be, I believe, about
30 inches.
30 inches.
Oh. Well, I'm at about 30 inches right this second. I'll tell you, I'm at 0.2 at 30 inches right now, but I have four monitors in front of me.
Let me just tell readers, if they go to bioinitiative.org, you want to look at the color chart, at bioinitiative.org. Look for the color charts, and you can see what kind of diseases are likely to get created from exposures like Vincent is talking about right now.
Mm-hmm. All right, now let's get scary. Ready?
I'm ready.
So that wasn't so bad. Unless you're laying your hand on the computer, it's bad, but it's not really, really bad. So then I went to the compact fluorescent light, 13 water. Okay, that's a small one. At 4 inches from the compact fluorescent light, it's 100 milligauss plus.
It's not
this
good.
thing is powerful. Okay, then and how many of them do we have in our kitchen? I'm guessing about 16. 16 compact fluorescent lights to light up the kitchen. They have to go. So I'm gonna design a system that uses just strict 12 volts. I'm gonna replace all of them with 12 volt lighting, DC, which should have 0 electromagnetic radiation. I have to measure that, but I believe it'll be 0 or darn close to 0. Now, at 12 inches from that 13 watt compact fluorescent light, it's 3 milligauss. Now, here's the amazing thing. We have a General Electric gas stove, but it has a computer control panel for the clock. It has a digital clock. It has a digital timer. So you press the button.
It's going to have a switch mode power supply in that. Yeah.
Man, oh man. At 12 inches from this GE clock. Now, this stove is in a metal box, okay? It's got a metal door in the front. It's got a metal pots and pans cabinet in the bottom. It's got a metal top. It's a gas stove, for Pete's sake. It's not an electric stove. Well, the computer in this thing at 12 inches is 100 plus milligauss at 12 inches. The kitchen is the most dangerous place in our house. And that's where Mrs. Finelli stands next to, there's a sink next to the stove, like in most houses. And to the left of the sink is the stove. Above the stove is a microwave oven. Now, why do I have that? Because it was less expensive for me to buy a microwave oven with a fan that would ventilate outside than it was for me to buy just a range hood with a motor and a fan. So I was able to save money by buying a scratch and dent microwave oven with the ventilation hood that vents outside, because it was scratched and dented. And it was dented in the back, and I didn't really care about the dent in the back because I wasn't planning on using the microwave oven anyway. But that darn thing, with it off, with the microwave oven hood off, just sitting there waiting for me to tell it what to do, is 100 plus milligauss at 6 inches.
Do you know why? Because there's probably a switch mode power supply in its, by the digital panel.
Yes, right, yeah. and also a computer. So the stove, and this is a Kenmore microwave oven. Kenmore doesn't make appliances; they just brand them. They say Kenmore. They might be GE, they might be Whirlpool, they might be some other manufacturer, but it says Kenmore. Now, at 36 inches, 3 feet, with the microwave oven on, I just put a cup of coffee in there, hit the start button, bam, 100 plus milligauss at 36 inches.
When we come back, I have a solution.
Yeah. Does it involve a wrench?
Solution.
Does it involve... Oh. Okay, I have a free solution. We'll be right back. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Youngevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Why do over 50% of North Americans suffer from some form of chronic ailment? Could it be due to a toxic overload? It's time to take back your life. Get the lead out as well as the cadmium, mercury, and calcium. Extendovite is a garlic cayenne supplement with 5 other herbs that acts like a natural Drano, cleaning out the stored toxins, restoring your energy and youthfulness that we've lost. If you would like to live your life free of sickness, pain, or fear, then Extendovite is for you. Available in either capsules or liquid, you too can see why Extendovite is the #1 heart drop available. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Are you suffering from EP? The symptoms include fraudulent charges to your credit card. Your subway card says it's empty, but you bought it yesterday. Someone's been in your hotel room, but the desk clerk says they only show you entering the room. These are signs of EP, electronic pickpocketing. Payment cards, transit cards, even hotel room keys use a radio chip, so you can just wave your card at the register, the turnstile, or your hotel room door. But what's convenient for you is also convenient for thieves, waving scanners to electronically pickpocket you without even touching you. The good news is there's a cure. ID Stronghold has created leather wallets and clutches that have built-in EP protection. Layers of shielding material cleverly concealed in a beautiful leather wallet that stops the symptoms of EP. Go to idstronghold.com now and get the cure. idstronghold.com. Warning, ID Stronghold wallets could lead to feelings of safety and security, comfort in crowds, and euphoria. If you experience these emotions, immediately inform your friends and family about idstronghold.com so they can feel better too.
Last night I got a very sad phone call from Jennifer Gelati, and she's the daughter of Bob Chapman and Judy Chapman. Of course, you know, USAPreparedness.com senior instructor Bob Chapman passed away almost 3 years ago. Judy Chapman just passed away. Very sad note, and I'm going to post on the website a link to the memorial book if you'd like to comment and make your thoughts known publicly. Very, very sad note. No meetup on Monday. It's Decoration Day. It's also known as Memorial Day. Katie Singer's with us, and she's the author of An Electronic Silent Spring. Her website, electronicsilentspring.com. Katie, please continue.
To your stove, which you said is a gas stove, but it's got a switch mode power supply for you know, like you need for the pilot light and everything like that. And that the switch mode power supply is showing really intense magnetic fields that we do not want Mrs. Finelli or anyone exposed to. Okay, so if you get a $10 power strip and plug the stove into the power strip and keep the stove off unless you use the oven. And I do that with our stove, and maybe I use the oven twice a week. So I've only got those magnetic fields going for, say, 2 hours a week as opposed to 24/7. And then when I use the burners, which is, you know, pretty frequently, I just use a lighter. And that's how I light the gas burner.
Okay. That's a really good solution. And you can do the same. Okay.
Well, and for your microwave oven, please just
same thing.
Unplug it. Yeah. If not, you know, feed it into a plowshare. But unplugging it would really help.
So what we could do, Katie, is that same $10 power switch and your power strip. You're talking about one that has an on-off switch, one that has a rocker switch and it goes click, one that you can actually feel go click. That's not an electronic one. It's one that has a physical disconnection from a circuit, physical disconnection. That you can plug your microwave oven into. You can plug your stove in. Well, only the electronic control portion of your stove. Same thing. And what a great idea. Probably a dishwasher too, but it needs to be of sufficient capacity to handle the load of those devices. And we have one of those, Katie, that we use for our electronics. It turns off the power to, we have a television, a flat panel in the kitchen where we watch videos and YouTube videos, that kind of thing. We have an on-off switch, just like you're talking about, a power strip that turns all of that electronic equipment on. But I want to share with you something that was really alarming to me. So I went to the coffee maker and I thought, you know, this can't be too high. And I got a really high reading near the coffee maker. I said, no, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So I unplugged the coffee maker and I still had a high reading. And we have a convection oven and I went to that and that had a real high reading, but it was unplugged. So it wasn't that. What it was the electrical service panel on the other side of the wall in the kitchen. And it's a 6-inch wall that has sheetrock on both sides, but the electrical panel's there. And let me tell you what, it was, let's see, back of the electrical panel, 36 inches away from it, 3 milligauss, 36 inches right next to it, putting the meter on the wall behind the electrical panel, over 100. And so here's what I determined. So I went around the house and I put the meter on the wall where these wires are. Virtually no reading whatsoever. So the Romex wire in the wall, no problem. But you get to the electrical box where you separate those wires from each other to go to the switches, that's where you have electromagnetic radiation. And then when you turn on the light, the electromagnetic radiation comes on. When you turn on the light, it comes on even more when you turn on the bathroom fan. So when the devices are off, no electromagnetic radiation that's measurable with this meter. But when you use the device that's controlled by the switch, at the switch point, that's where the electromagnetic radiation is. Katie, we can't do it in an hour. That's all there is to it.
We're getting a lot covered, Vincent. I appreciate it very much.
Well, let's put on the schedule the next time you're going to be on. I'll talk to you off air, and we'll schedule you. Katie Singer and electronicsilentspring.com. Electronic Silent Spring.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit goberkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products, most ready to ship same day. Visit The Berkey Guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of The Berkey Guy.
This is a nationwide announcement for consumers owing back taxes to the IRS. The slowdown in the U.S. economy has forced renewed action by the Internal Revenue Service. The IRS is now accepting reduced settlement amounts from qualifying consumers who owe back taxes. If you're eligible, your back tax settlement may be discounted by thousands of dollars. A specially assigned national hotline has been directly routed to Defense Tax Group. Consumers may now call and check their eligibility for a significant tax debt reduction. Financial stability is a major priority during this slow economy, so you're advised to dial this national hotline number now. 800-678-4191. If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, you may now find significant relief. You could save thousands of dollars if you qualify. Call now and get free vital information and to check your eligibility for a significant tax debt reduction. Call the Defense Tax Group now. 800-678-4191. That's 800-678-4191. 800-678-4190.